everybody, the Assassin's Creed fandom seems to be divided on Desmond, whether or not he was useful or not, or whether he was a worthwhile character. And while he wasn't the best person, at least in Assassin's Creed 3, he was really starting to shine because he had, he ran away from the assassins. He's like, I'm not about this life. I just want to be a bartender and just
leave me alone.
Just leave me alone. Like, I didn't ask for all this. But,
right.
He's starting to understand that what's going on is bigger than just him. And he's using what he's learning from the bleeding effect and trying to help out the team and everything, because this is a worldwide thing now. It's not just about him and his feelings. And
right.
just as we started to see him traversing New York City and skyscrapers and stuff and just being an ultimate badass.
Brazil too.
Yeah.
And Abstergo. Oh my god, Abstergo. That was fucking sick.
Absolutely loved the modern scenes in Assassin's Creed 3 because we got to see Desmond finally come into his own as an actual assassin and put to work all the things that he's been learning. And just when he's really getting to the start of his real development as a character, not just a body complaining about things, they snuff him out. And then it's like, wait, what happened?
What just happened?
And then now we're still trying to pick up the pieces in the modern storyline from Desmond because, you can't really replace him at this point. We've been this nameless, faceless nobody. What are your thoughts on Unity? Because you're more recently played it than I have. It's been about 2 years for me, so.
Yeah, but you're further along because I'm still on Flint 7.
Oh.
But I just try to keep Arno away from speaking in sequences. I just go ahead and do side missions. I can deal with the game a lot better than that.
Yeah.
Because I like Paris. It has that same, but not the same Assassin's Creed feel like it used to.
Mm-hmm.
I guess because the innocence is gone, I would say, after the death of Desmond, and it kind of stalemated from there. But Black Flag picked it up for me, but then Unity put the mantle back down. So it's like, we're raising the flag, and then Edward hands it off to Arno, and Arno just throws it and just stomps on it. I'm like, okay, thanks, Arno. You fucking dick. And so,
that's accurate.
With Unity, like I said, I love a lot of the things. I love solving the mysteries. That's cool. The Nostradamus riddles, I don't really have trouble with, except for a couple. I'll concede that. So I like that aspect of it, but storyline, I can leave it. There is no emotional investment even thus far that I've had. Because, I know what they were trying to do, and I remember what they were originally trying to do with Arno, and they were trying to make him practically Ezio number 2.
Yeah, and that failed miserably. Because
you can only have one Ezio.
Yeah.
Especially after AC3 came out and people really, really, really going in on Connor. I'm like, look, not every assassin is going to have the same background. Not everybody's going to be the same. Everybody's going to be raised differently. It's just depending on how you do your job. He did his job, so y'all need to get off his back.
Right.
But essentially, no one else can be Ezio. Let's just go ahead and mark it there. And as a lot of people refer Altair to Ezio, because Altair set the precedent for a lot of assassins not to lose their finger. He wrote Codex. He did a lot of that, and he suffered a whole fucking lot for it.
He still grew as a character, though.
He still grew as a character. He still had his development. And so I guess that's what Arno, as far as I can see, is lacking. He's lacking that growth, that care, that even when his mentor is gone, I'm sitting here okay. To me, I'm he's just another Templar, to where it wasn't as conflicted like it was when you felt back in AC3. There's no conflict like that. Or with Edward, there was no inner conflict with that. Unity is just there.
It seemed like Arnold to me had just sort of a very flat one note sort of character arc. He was all about Elise and nothing else. There was no real explanation on what his own personal investment is or was being in the Brotherhood. You have all this turmoil, you have all this revolution going on. Why isn't he taking more of an active role and trying to help things? It was all about Elise and what Elise was doing.
And you also said, because I'm not that far to where the revolution's at its peak yet.
Yeah.
Even at its peak and all the major things, you really are very underscore and you don't really participate. Not like Connor did during the revolution.
No. And that's what I found funny was that, the French Brotherhood, at least as it's portrayed in Unity, doesn't really seem to have an active role in trying to help the people or help.
Not at all. It seems like they're very absorbed in themselves a lot. Achilles.
and that may be part of the reason why, Arno doesn't feel invested or he's not very interesting as a character, comparatively speaking, because at least with all the other characters, with them being in the Assassin's Brotherhood, they had a real purpose for being there. There was some personal investment in their being in the Brotherhood. And there are a couple events that play out in Unity that are specific to Arno and that affect him. But by and large, he doesn't really hit that note for me. It's never like, oh, I want to join the Brotherhood for a noble cause. I want to help people. I want to do this. Or in his case,
murdered my damn father.
Right.
Your original father.
Or, join to try to save the person that he loves. Like, he knows Elise is a Templar. Maybe I can persuade her to join our side. It doesn't have to be like this where we're fighting against each other. That sort of thing.
Like Altair and Maria. It's happened before.
Right. And so with Unity, there are so many things that are wrong with Unity, and we could have a whole episode just on Unity and where that fucked up.
Unity!
But character development, and they didn't really do as good of a job trying to make Arno distinctive enough from the whole lineup of assassins. Of course, like we said, with the characters not really getting the development that they really deserve, because I feel like not really in a better developer, but if they actually took as much care in each Assassin's Creed game as they did with the Ezio trilogy, I think Arno would have turned out fine. I think their other characters would have turned out fine, because at least in Arno's case, and I'm sorry if I keep getting off topic, but with Arno, this is the first time that we see someone have an active love interest in the game that was also involved in the overarching plot. And, one of the things that I've noticed with assassins, they live very lonely lives. And a
lot of sacrifice too.
A lot of sacrifice in their, family, the loves and everything, happiness. They don't get to really be happy. And so they're in this constant state of just go, got to take down this enemy. And it would have been a really cool concept to show, how a love life of an assassin could have worked in the game, and giving him some more depth, some more nuance, some more depth, kind of like what we were describing with CJ last time with San Andreas, and how his family ties made him more interesting because he had a personal stake in what was going on. And I wish in a more competent person's hands, I think Arno would have been done justice, but they didn't really do that.
They did it in AC3 with Haytham and Connor. Yeah. That was a great dynamic of father and son, each other on the opposite sides. And especially when you read Forsaken, is when Connor picks up the journal of Haytham that's left behind and reads everything from Haytham's point of view, even to the point of the stuff in the games we don't see happen. And so it gives a lot more layers to that relationship, and especially of the wonder of what could have been if, even from jump, if nothing had happened to Edward, Haytham would have been an assassin instead of being reared to become a Templar. Right. That had a lot more weight than what Arno went through. Because Arno just seemed like he was just there.
He was just there and just wanting to get his dick wet. Like, that was his whole MO, the whole damn thing. Fuck the Brotherhood. Fuck this revolution. Fuck all these people starving and getting shot and hung and all that nonsense.
Very self-centered. He was extremely self-centered. Like, SEO, he had his moments. He was a playboy and stuff like that. There was a lot of selfishness sometimes, especially when it came to Christina. He was still a little selfish sometimes when he peeked in on her throughout the years. Right. But he cared so much more about the world around him and his family. Arno was more of a selfish quest. I guess they had to throw an assassin at us like that. That was not quite fit into the mold, but it still didn't even work for us to care enough. Because even though Edward was not an assassin officially until like maybe sequence 10 or 11, we still gave a damn about him even after he sliced up the Brotherhood in like a couple of sequences.
Yeah, and Edward actually experienced character growth because he realized the error of his ways. He realized how his actions impacted the Brotherhood and piracy as a whole in the region. And he was like, you know what? I need to make things right. I gotta fix some things. And so, again, it makes all the difference. Their characters can be hit or miss.
With the release of Black Flag, that really lifted a lot of people's spirits because it was a nice, fresh take, especially to end the American trilogy, because I know like a lot of people were kind of about the American trilogy. So it was a nice uptake from there.
And then Unity happened. God. Fuck you, Unity.
Yeah, it just coasted, and like Unity was the dipping point, which I'm kind of glad, because I'm like, Connor's no longer getting that much flack, because as y'all know, Connor's my bae. I love Connor. I'm probably like more of a Connor head than Ezio, because everyone loves Ezio, and I love Ezio too, but I just think that, you know, Connor gets too much flack for no reason.
Yeah, and he's a tough act to follow, especially if you've had 3 games to connect with someone and you literally have seen them from birth to death. You know, that's a different dynamic. And Ezio and Connor are 2 completely different people in terms of, you know, circumstances, background, wealth, all of those things. It's a far cry from each other. So I think, you know, there's all that talk about Connor being boring and just whiny and stuff, and I'm like, he
has some whiny moments though. I will admit that
he does, but he's a young, like 19, 20-year-old guy. How many, you know,
especially being raised from the age of 5,
right?
Knowing, like, carrying this hatred for this dude that you think killed your mom. Yeah, you're gonna be a little bit of a bitter bitch too. Yeah, to be honest, especially if you loved your mom enough, and that's practically your only parent because your dad wasn't there. So yeah, I'm like, watching shows like Intervention, yeah, you'll be a little bit of a bitter bitch too when you have a whole bunch of emotional hang-ups.
I work around young adults all the time, and Connor is just normal.
Yeah, that is a normal dude.
And considering everything that he's been through up to that point, he's actually surprisingly well adjusted, unfortunately. But he's had to
deal with a lot of death. A lot of people was like, well, Ezio had that same thing. Like, yeah, but he was old enough to grasp all that. Connor's dealing with deaths have practically come one after another consistently in life, so it's like he had to adjust and evolve from there.
And everybody he knew passed.
Yeah, and then essentially all his people practically was gone, so he did all that shit for nothing. Damn.
It's just wild.
I mean, at least Ezio managed to get a family in the end and not go crazy like apparently Connor did. And I have zero appreciation. Like, no, we need an assassin retirement fund and home. We need them to go into a nice place, not to be, you know, ducked up and crazy when they don't work out the way you want it to.
Right. Jesus was an assassin. That'd be awesome.
You never know. Adam and Eve was an assassin. Jesus was probably an assassin. I would see that movie. Jesus assassin.
Judas was a Templar. Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes, it fits.
Oh, that would be the biggest plot point since Hatham. Are you serious right now?
The trees.
Are you
the trees. Please make
that. Write it. Get it.
Judas was a Templar.
Give us credit.
The original.
Give us credit.
The original hater.
The original hater.